sent to the earth to educate the fool. Waiting around for my shell to crack. After that, you can't hold me back. Looking out for the danger signs. Jungle brothers waiting for a change in time. Left, right, up as from which game. Straight up the middle, quality the rhythm. Sending a message to the old and young. Confused about where I come from. What planet, what channel, what station? Africa from the Zulu nation.
One, two, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Trying to see if I'm live and see how this is going. 1, 2, 1, 2. Hey, everybody. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? This is gonna be one of those starting a new conversation and constant conversation today. You always see me promote, talk about, represent, drop flyers, give invitations out to the services when it comes to World of Akiba Land. And I said it's time for me to start the conversation in reference to Akiba Land and what Akiba Land is and what it does. And so I said, let me put this together. And I'm slowly working some things out here. And as y'all see in the background, World of Akiba Land, planting a better seed to get a better harvest. Planting a better seed to get a better harvest is the slogan. And conversation about that is we talking about raising our kids. And in our communities, we know that that's serious. You know, people say that that's primary objective number one, and really it's not. You can tell by the decline in how well they think, and as well as what they do with how they think. And y'all see what's on the news today. Brother lying just so that he can make more money, putting a bad image on the city of Chicago, where another brother has to step up and talk about his disgust for the actions, you know, of what's going on. And you know, you represent, you think you're representing a particular population here in the United States, and you're not representing anybody but your own pocket. And we had a couple of scenarios this week that dealt with that, the fact that individuals are only representing their own pocket. And I'm going to show you how deep this goes, because it wasn't only the young brother from Empire, it was also the older brother, you know, Mr. Harvey, you know, not good, not cool. You know, when individuals are sitting down and they telling you, look, the only thing I'm out here for and fighting for is for my own sense of wealth in the Americas. And we always got to, I'm going to always keep this focus for the next, you know, it's not 365, so we down to maybe like 300 days where we are acknowledging the quadcentennial. 400 years of us being here on foreign soil. And for some of us, this is the only soil that we know. We don't know no other place, no other land, no other way of life. This is it. Now, what's so funny about that is us conscious individuals, it's the black consciousness. And black consciousness is different than any sense of consciousness. It goes a whole multiple levels here. And with us, we sit down and say, you know, we think a little bit deeper than what are we doing with what we think. And then how do we have that transcend throughout the generations? So we just witnessed this week where we have the elder generation and the younger generation both on the same mindset. On that same mindset. We after this bread. We after this money, and we don't care what we have to do to get it. Now, when you think of it that way, Who does that mindset come from? Who gonna walk into your house, wrap you up, strap you up, and ship you across what they say across the pond? We're going look at what sit right across the pond. They're gonna send you across the pond for what? For the sake of their own wealth. We got black folk looking black, thinking European. So World of Keebland, with a concept where we're trying to plant a better seed to get a better harvest here in the diaspora, the African diaspora in the Americas. 400 years. We're trying to reflect this year 400 years of praise, not 400 years a slave. We got quite a couple of few situations where we have individuals in the limelight representing 400 year a slave. You are a manifestation of everything that we've gone through negative. 400 years a slave. We got to switch that narrative. Now, as conscious people, we can speak. Well, we'll deal with the issue. We ain't gonna say just conscious because we depend on what level of consciousness. We talk about black consciousness, and as individuals who are black conscious, we have a lingo that we use. We have terminologies that we use to communicate with each other. Our topics, our songs, our music, our vibe, our energy. So on a whole different level. We go through things in our life in order for us to get to that level of consciousness. And so now, and it just didn't start. It's been a trail. It's been a definite trail to get us here. Um, and we can look in throughout those 400 years and realize those individuals who woke up. And those are the individuals that we call our freedom fighters, the one that we give praise to as we slowly move out of Black History Month. For those who celebrate Black History Month, I said, how can you celebrate Black History Month if you have a Black History life? We just acknowledge it publicly more? No, because black conscious people, we acknowledge it 24/7, 365 days. It's a part of who we are. And it's a part of our daily discussion. You can see those who are conscious and those who are not, because those who have a state of black consciousness don't deal with the fluff and the BS of what the world is that's in the world around us. You're in the world, but you're not of it. And you can sit down and look. I have one teacher, Noonan, Georgia, English teacher, and she said if someone looked at your Facebook profile, what would your autobiography say? And I paused, and she said I gave that to my students. She said, because it is what you speak. It is the life that comes out your mouth. Because we can either speak life to ourselves or speak death. What comes out your mouth when you hit there, sitting in front of the PC? And it paused. I paused before I even got on social media years ago. Paused. Because I'm like, I'm not one of those social dummies. I can't do what people are doing. I'm not built like that. Now I play, you have those conversations, but in terms of if you looking at my profile and you're trying to stage my autobiography, I'm gonna give you who I am. People sit down and say, don't take my profile or what I post, don't take it to heart. Why not? It's the words you speak. We already know black consciousness. We are literally our own temples. We are given the power of free will. What comes out your temple is who you are, whether it be game or whether it be not. It's who you are. So why play? Why have people guess at your greatness? Guess at your wisdom? Guess at your blessing? Why have people guess? Why not show people who we are? And so when I went public, it was clear. First, it was all strictly business. And my business was not always representing who I was. It represented what my business did. And then it came to a point where, how Facebook was separating business profiles from personal profiles. Drew that line down the middle. And of course, people tell on you when they realize that, my personal profile was my company, Boulevard ATL, and everything that was Boulevard ATL, everything I did was there, Boulevard ATL, and so it was like that's not his name, and of course I was, Facebook police, and they said you got to create a personal profile, and I paused and I said, without first even hearing what the teacher was saying in reference to how she's teaching her kids how to represent yourself. How do you represent yourself to the world? This is you. Your profile is literally your vision board. And whether you believe in vision boards or not, or whether you do vision boards or not, what you post speaks into the life that you are, or the life that you will develop. And so you can really tell. And so I said I got to be careful what seeds I plant in my own personal life. Whether it's game or not, I got to be careful of what I plant. Because what I plant is always guaranteed to come to harvest. Now they say, the God says he promised you a life of abundance. Never tell you the abundance of what? When that verse is said. He promises you your heart's desire. So what does your heart desire? 400 years of a slave mentality, slave behavior, slave interaction, slave encounters, or 400 years of praise. And sometimes he tests that by putting you through your storm. What are you? Can you praise me through your hardships or not? What seeds have been planted in you that come to sprout as life goes through? And again, I'm still talking about, this is the intro, beginning World of Akibaland. Because I've been a part of this particular program for approximately 27 years. Yeah. Been doing this for 27 years. Was asked to take a major role in the development of classes on Sundays, as well as the movement toward a social media and online experience, which as we continue and we break it down, and it's going to be a slow roll on this one, because as much as you hear me talk about DaAfrican, I needed you to know who was in the room with your kids, who was interacting, who's talking to them, who's vibing with them, who's playing the video games with them, with your kids. And if you understand me, and I have yet to get, and I've asked and I told the whole group, because it's not just me, we got a full team here in Atlanta. Full team. And I told them, I said, look, this technology is coming because I'm creating this to hand it over to the youth, as well as to the youth group that works with that, where we work together to build these experiences for our children. Why? Because we're planting seeds here. This is a whole experience, and the program has been up for more than 40 years. And one of the things I said, it was funny because I was like rushing home to, okay, how I'm going to drop this. I'm going to work out my outline in terms of how I'm going to speak. I'm going to have it set out here, 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 here. And I paused and said, wait up, dude. We're just going to rock and roll with this one tonight. Because everything that needs to be said is already built. I don't have to search for images and push images together. I'm going to just start pulling up the site. And from that page, in terms of, this is the last 5 years of work that I put together, and from time to time I show it to you. From that page, we take a look at what is. But again, as we start and we start talking about the world of Akiba, and we start talking about planting a better seed to get a better harvest, we talk about the language of black consciousness. Black consciousness is a language that we share amongst adults, and however, there also has to be a language that's articulated in the lives of our youth. From the earliest stages of life, birth. Let's go further, because I'm wrong with that one. This is at the minute of conception. Because in the Bible it said God knew you before you were formed. Black consciousness, whether you choose, regardless whether what religion or foundation you choose, we exist within the Creator. We are a product of divine thought. The Creator knew what He created before He manifested us in the womb. He knows our beginnings and our ends. So the minute that a woman looks at a man and says, hey, we having a baby, that's the first stop. Sisters that look at a man and say, I'm pregnant, that separates that man from that experience instantly. That's a seed of spiritual separation already. Words are real important. Anytime you find that situation, it's not I'm pregnant, it's we pregnant. We having a baby. We late. You immediately give that man ownership of what the Creator created through him. Immediately connect them, because what we don't realize that happens in the spiritual consciousness of a man, where we are broken. And I get you to say that. We are broken up. We saw that this week in two of them, an old one and a new one. We are broken in so many different ways. It leaks out when we least expect to see it leak out. Our brokenness. 400 years here, we have never, as in our beginnings of our conditioning here, your woman don't belong to you. Your land don't belong to you. The food you make on it don't belong to you. Your clothes, I give you what I want you to wear. Your kids don't belong to you. Everything that you think you can produce don't belong to you. And when we least expect it, that conditioning seeps in. It seeps in us so fast, so quick, so hard. And they mastered the art of separating the black man from his woman and the black man from his kid. Now they are mastering that art of separating the black woman from her kid and her man. That's serious in terms of your perceptions. How are you looking at him and judging him, and what are you looking for? We talking about worlds of Keebler, but we leading up to planting a better seed. The blessing of a child starts at the minute of conception. That the minute that we are expecting. My situation was gravely in my teens, as I had a kid when I was young, ill. And I'm not gonna plague y'all with that one, but yeah, I had the first Moipovich chick. I want a baby with no baby daddy, and I need a baby because I want to drop out of school and I want to do nothing and I want to be my own person. It took me my whole life to fight for the custody of my kid, and I say mine, but it's ours. But it was well, he hadn't seen her since she was 15. Real talk. Um, and when my situation happened, and this is at 17, 18 years old, I looked her in the eye and I said, I don't know why you're doing this to me. I can't understand why you're doing this to me. It has to be something that's happening in this world to black people, and it's the first time I really spoke a sense of a prolific thought. Has to be something happening in this world that will allow someone to do this to somebody. So I'm not going to take what you're doing personal. I'm going to go look at this world with a different view and find out why you doing this. Because it's a level of thinking. And I commence my journey of consciousness. Because I said, once I get around you, I'm going to have to be able to heal you from the darkness that lives in you, and then heal my son for the darkness that you're going to put in him. My consciousness journey started from here. You know, the Creator knew what He was going to put me through to get me to where I'm supposed to be. But consciously on this realm where I realized I got to open up an eye or two. And that's real. But the blessing of a child starts at the beginning. Now, the conversation is, how do you take the journey to awareness so that kids understand who they are and whose they are as they walk through every simple part of life. How do you do that? And being here in this quadcentennial year, 1619 or 2019, exactly 400 years, we as a people haven't mastered it. But I can tell you that World of Akibaland and Akibaland Academy, and I'm giving shout outs to Akibaland alumni, that this has happened in this community for the last 40 years. Let me see. And so you know I'm full of videos to help express what I'm doing and what I'm talking about. Let's minimize that. Let's see here. Doom, 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 doom. Give me a hot second while I get this up. Give me a few seconds here. I'm gonna learn how to work the microphone, switch the videos simultaneously. Let's see right there. Let's see here. Where we at? One two one two. He says, "I'm at work, bro. I think I'm missing some of the key points of the lecture. Would love to watch it again. If you're recording, can you send it to me? Messenger, please. I got some questions too." Sure, bro. What's the question? Now, I had told y'all before I was working on the my lot. I can't see it. Wait. Let me show it since he's sending it. Streaming on 4 different platforms at one time. And so wherever you stream in and whatever you send the question in, it should all populate up there. I finally got that fixed. This week we didn't have it. Last week, well, earlier part of the week we didn't have it first stream, but now I got it. It's working real good. And so, you know, if you would like to text something, I could actually see it now. I can't see when you join. I can't see who's talking. But now, if you text from any page that I'm on or I'm streaming on, it'll come. But what we're talking about is World of Akibaland, giving it the breakdown and talking about giving the liberation, the spirit of liberation to our children, to our youth, making this conversation a transgenerational experience where our kids don't have to wait until they're grown to understand their identity in God. Our kids shouldn't. You know, the story of Moses in the wilderness where he had to wait 40 years. 40 years to have a whole generation die off. 40 years to have a section of black life disappear. Mindset wasn't strong enough to be free. Wow. How would you feel if someone looked at you and said your mindset is not strong enough to be free? And it's funny because that's exactly what's being told to you. Anytime you're out here and you the buffoonery of 400 years of a slave, and that's what your personality projects, that's exactly what you're saying. You do not possess the mentality to be free. So we would have to wait for some of us to pass away so that we would have a generation that thought as free black men and women and produced everything in their lives as free black men and women. The first education for a child is an education unto the Creator. The first education for a child, and that's parent to a child grandma to a child, adult to a child. It doesn't matter the surroundings. The first education to a child is an education unto the Creator. Realize that this is not a possession of yours. It's a gift from God that belongs to God. Now, how do you get that young mind to understand their relationship with the Creator? And so there are topics that we share, and there's life experiences that we do within the Akiba land, where we get the kids to experience this lifestyle. Their conversations are different. Their behaviors are different. Their effort in life different. Now, this week in my community, we're talking about HBCUs, and this Sunday we're going to put it all together. 400 years of praise, quadcentennial, ending of Black history with the development of HBCUs and the value of an HBCU. Now, the value of a historical Black college or university have to be talked about way back. Because when they opened up, it's uneducate somebody and then give them a book that say that it's okay for them to be educated now. Like y'all choosing, some people choose for us not to vote because it does nothing. Tell that to the plenty of people who died so that you could flip a switch. Write a check. Choose somebody to represent you. Now, we don't necessarily have to completely believe to the system wholeheartedly, but we do have to uphold the system until we build something that works for us. That's important. Now, it has to get to a point where we don't wait until our kids are grown for our kids to take the mantle of leadership. That has to not happen. There has to be a lifestyle within the house that we use to have a language of liberation that can be understood to a smaller, younger generation. Now we're going to take this trip through the world of the Akiba land here. And we're going to go here. I don't know if anybody has seen this one before. This is the first one we did when we first launched our online experience, and we were putting the camp together, which is right here. We were putting the camp together, and we were bringing all the alumni together. And I said I had already created the group. I was in the process of building the page, the website, and I was like, hey, I got the video. I got the video to pull us together. Just let's get this started. And so I'm going to play the video for some of y'all who've seen it, some of y'all who haven't. I'm going to just hit play and hope you enjoy it.
The basic issue for us is self-determination. It's to be able to live in America with some degree of dignity. It's to have some control over our own destiny. The basic issue has to do with whether or not we can control some employment for ourselves. Community has come to the place now where everything that's done by government or by private industry or by any blue ribbon committee has to recognize self-determination as the foundation upon which all relationships with the Black community are to be built.
We share a sacred trust.
Share a sacred trust.
We share a sacred trust.
Share a sacred trust.
We share a sacred trust.
We share what?
A sacred trust.
Definitely share a sacred trust.
Most amazing experience of my life, the Akiba Land Youth Program.
An excellent education program for Black children.
It allowed me to not only learn about myself, but to get ahead for the future school year and just really set me up for success.
I've been a member of Akiba Land Academy since I was about this high, and I don't know where I'd be without it.
I learned self-esteem, respect, and a love for my community.
One of the greatest things that Akiba Land Academy gave me over these past 40 years was the ability to pass down to my children the greatest of who we are as God's children, as His people, and our ability to transfer that over into our community.
Thankful for all the love, for all the positive examples of black people working together, for all the Black History classes, and just for all the friendships and brothers and sisters who I can call brothers and sisters to this day.
Vision of our first founder and holy patriarch, Yaramoji Abebe Ajaman. He felt that the way to affect real change for black people were to put all of your resources, energy into uplifting the black community by raising consciously aware black children that were intellectuals, that were well-rounded spiritually, that were all about impacting and making a difference in the black community and in the larger, on the larger world platform.
The biggest thing that Akiba has taught me is the root process and just how important it is for us to put others before ourselves.
Please donate.
Please donate.
Donate to Akiba Land Academy.
We donate that you donate to an awesome program called Akiba Land.
I am Akiba Land Academy.
I am.
I'm Akiba Land Academy. I'm Akiba Land Academy. I'm a part of the Akiba Land Academy. I am Akiba. I am Akiba. You're Akiba Land Academy.
1 2 1 2. Here we go. Yeah. Again, that was one of the first video I did that was done, and I can tell you that in that space where in creating it, watching the faces, some of the adults that were there, and I told you I've been doing this for over 27 years. I've been there, like Olu, you saw him, he said, I yay big. I've been there, I tell you how long. He was, what, 5? Maya was 5, Ayo, I walked Ayo holding her hand, walked into the program. And to watch now, these kids are facilitators to the next generation. And the key part was teaching the art, or the tool of self-determination inside a child's mind. Understanding that this is a struggle for our humanity, and being able to create those life experiences that get them to understand that. And before we continue, I'm gonna drop this one because we've got videos all up in here, and so I can let the work do for itself. And that's what I try to do, which is create these artistic moments. And it's not even me, Sister Kimada and Sister Jing. We all create these experiences, visuals, these sounds, the plays, the clips, or snips of moments where they get to speak life. Speaking life and connecting it to their grand design of who the Creator called them to be. And understanding that. Example, my daughter, Ayan Amantala Tulanagwe. Ayan Amantala Tehimba Tulanagwe. Beautiful one who serves God, stand as a nation because God is with us. Took my time with that name because I wanted to make sure that as she grew up, she understood her name had a meaning for her to live into. And when we sit down and we talk about African names and meanings of their names, this is important. This is a part of our culture and our tradition. This is why we do this, because it attaches them. It was a part of our tradition to give our kids names that represented their relationship to their family, their community, and their relationship to God first. Now, of course, we started taking, you know, and you see it through the life of Muhammad Ali. Don't call me Cassius Clay. Don't do that. That is not my name. That is the name of my slave master. I am Muhammad Ali. And you're going to announce it right now or announce it on the flat of your back. You're going to respect the God in me. And he stood up for that fight. You're going to respect the God in me. And now we're supposed to. And then look at, man, and it's a beautiful thing of what he amounted to. One of my most favorite people and models in the world. Anytime I'm feeling any kind of way that ain't lining up right, I literally hit YouTube and I play Muhammad Ali documentaries. Straight up. When Olu was little, Olu Chinyelu, they were both in the play, so it was in a video. So the two male brothers, Olu and Chinyelu, and I had them at my house one day, and we sitting there playing, and I was like, yo, guess what? Okay, who is your most favorite person in life? And talk about why. And so explain to them, get them to express, and they all say Jaramogi. And of course, that's nice, you know, that's what they're supposed to say, Jaramogi. And they were only 5. And so they was like, well, Brother Ajay, who's your favorite person? I said, really? For me growing up, it was Muhammad Ali. 5 years old. They didn't know who Muhammad Ali was. 5. I said, well, I'm going to show you who Muhammad Ali was. And I went and had a whole afternoon, weekend experience because kids would just hang out at the house. We everywhere. You know, you talk about put me in a room full of kids, I'm the biggest kid that you'll ever see. As profound as I think, as artistic as I do, put me in a room and all of the Akiba land could sit down. If they ever, when they tune in and look, they will, me in front of a group of kids is a ball of fun. It's a lot of energy. There's one thing that I don't, and this is how I believe. If you're going to approach a kid and interact with them in any such form or fashion, or even massive amounts of kids, find the energy level that the kid lives on or vibrates on. Find it. Don't make a child conform to you. That's too much. That's control. No, find it. When we have the babies come and sit in the class, and they, you know, you 3. I can't tell a 3-year-old not to play Hongo seat up under the chair. Why? Because they like 2 or 3. Now, if they mature 3, absolutely. But if you're not a mature 3, and you kick in and your feet don't touch the ground, and your legs are swinging, you know, and you just happy, and you just sitting there wiggling because you're trying to find something to do. Yeah. Hey, if it's time to play tag, as long as you play quiet and don't interfere with the class, they looking at me like, hey, brother, how do you do this? I said, easy. I let them be them, but my energy goes way up in terms of animation, emotion, interaction, everything. I use all the facilities that God has given me to pull them in so that they hear it. And then we talk at the end to see if they got it. And so it's important, you know, that we create these moments and these experiences. And this is what Akiba Land is. You know, before we continue, like I said, drop another one. This one was recent. This one was created last October, November.
The basic issue for us is self-determination. It's to be able to live
and you
in
have to see that the term self-determination
part
is key. That has to come first with everything we do.
Whether or not we can control some employment for ourselves. Black communities come to the place now where everything that's done by government or by private industry or by any blue ribbon committee has to recognize self-determination as the foundation upon which all relationships with the black community are to be built.
Bugle Land is our farm project, and this is where we hold summer camps.
Self-determination.
Guided for 47 extraordinary years by our founder and first holy patriarch, the late Jaramogi Ababy Ajiman, the shrines of the Black Madonna of Pan-African Orthodox Christian Church vigorously dedicated its ministry to the liberation of the Pan-African world community. Jaramogi Ababy Ajiman called for a new black theology and a new black church to articulate it, with the unveiling of the 18-foot painting of the Black Madonna and Child, which reflected the church's percepts that Jesus was black. He launched the Black Christian Nationalist movement during the past half-century. The organization has developed a theological, philosophical, and programmatic foundation required to build institutional power for black people.
Self-determination.
Programming for liberation. We believe that nothing is more sacred than the liberation of black people. We must transform the minds of black people by freeing them from dependence on white cultural values and from their unconscious acceptance on the white man's declaration of black inferiority. Jaramogi Abebe Ajamu.
Self-determination.
Social and political action. The Black Slate. In 1973, the former Reverend Clegg, who had changed his name to Jaramogi Abebe Ajamu, and his brother, Henry Clegg, founded the Black Slate Incorporated, an independent, non-profit public relations, fundraising, and advertising agency that endorses and supports candidates for public office. The Black Slate has been a major force in starting, maintaining, and elevating the political careers of many office holders in Detroit, Michigan, Atlanta, Georgia, and Houston, Texas. Some office holders include Detroit Mayors Coleman A. Young and Kwame M. Kilpatrick, Atlanta Mayors Maynard Jackson, Andrew Young, and Bill Campbell, and Houston Mayor Kathy Witzmeyer, and the first woman mayor.
Self-determination.
Akibaland Academy Youth Centers. Akibaland Academy began in the 1970s with a mission to prepare black youth for leadership in a Pan-African world community. It is a holistic, self-affirming program that engages the youth in sacramental worship and the science of DKUA, systematic socialism for communal living, harmonious integrated development of spirit, mind, and body, moral and faith development, acquisition of basic skills in preparation for effective and creative inclusion in the computer-dominated information age, and preparation for commitment to and participate in the worldwide struggle to liberate black people everywhere.
Self-determination.
The future is now. BLM is the nation, within the nation, for which we have always longed. It makes it possible the entire range of counter-institutions necessary to raise our struggle to new levels. BLM catapults the BCN program into a brand new era.
Self-determination. Self-determination. Self-determination.
Self-determination. Self-determination. Self-determination.
Understanding what's the background verbiage behind the young man. Which young man? Okay, and which is a beautiful thing, y'all. I don't know if y'all can see it. Tell it. Uh-oh, something just happened to my video. Let's see what happened. Now, of course, y'all can still hear me but can't see me. This is one of those technical issues that I have working off the cell phone. Cell phone was a little bit more, I don't know what happened. So what we're going to do is we're going to conclude the day. Oh, in the self-determination video, I see you. And it was the words that he was reading was the words that they were speaking. So there are posters in the center with a whole bunch of, let's see here, with a whole bunch of stuff on it. And it gives them the history and background of the church. It gives them a history and background of the program. It helps them understand it. So it's like a museum for us. a place where we can go and, if you know, you take a look at our history. So what I did was, in the video, was I paused and I split the screen and made it look like he was, you saw the things that he was reading on the wall, and that's what that was. But again, there's something happening here. We're having some technical difficulties, and so we're going to end with the technical difficulties. I'm going to figure out how to make this continue and work. Peace, love, and again, we're working on the quadcentennial as well as a keep a land on Thursday nights. Planting a better seed to get a better harvest. That's what we're talking about. Y'all be blessed, and I'll talk to you later.